Volunteers for the Annapolis Maritime Museum are imperative. We can't do our work without them. They provide expertise, they provide manpower, they provide creative ideas.
And then where does it go?
We provide ongoing learning experiences for our volunteers so that they can become better experts and provide more information to our public. Those who have knowledge are the most excited about that knowledge and sharing that knowledge.
When they're in the water, they like to be there. They don't. Volunteering is important to me on two fronts. One would be on a personal level, provide some satisfaction to me to work with the children and explain some of the issues and share my knowledge. And on the other front, I can always hope that down the road they'll remember some of it and it may affect some of their decisions in their lives and do some good.
The main goals of the Annapolis Maritime Museum are to really provide that connection for families and for children to the Chesapeake Bay and with our maritime heritage.
It's a little hard to display it. I've gotten involved in a number of things here. It's a very important museum. They're trying to restore what was an old oyster packing shed and they're trying to remember the heritage of the bay. My specific interest in oysters is I became a volunteer oyster gardener with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation some years ago, and I'm convinced that a healthy oyster population is critical, not just for the pollution and cleanliness of the bay, but also to help provide habitat for the other creatures that are around.
You guys are a very special group for us because you are...
The Treasure Our Waters program is a partnership with Watermark Tours that we developed a year ago. In this program, we are really looking at the Chesapeake Bay and the watershed, the natural and cultural history of the Chesapeake Bay. We do this through 3 stations. One is a watershed model which demonstrates in an engaging manner how the pollution and the runoff affects the Chesapeake Bay.
When a water goes into a storm drain, it goes right from this drain through the pipe and into the river. It's not treated at all. So who wants to be our big rainstorm that caused lots of pollution? Where? All right, so squirt right in there. You gotta get it in the hole. Hold on, hold on. Okay. All right, now squeeze. Okay, now tell me what's happening. Where did all that polluted water go?
To the pipe.
To the river. Okay, and then where does it go from the river?
To the ocean.
This is the bay right here. We're gonna imagine this is the bay. So what about this drain right here? You wanna do that one? So tell me where you see that one. Where does it come out?
Going out almost directly into the bay.
Right. So even though there's pollution all the way over here on the road, it ends up all the way in the bay right there.
The second station are our critters. We do seining beforehand and gather up a bunch of whatever critters we can find around to use as our demonstrations.
Terrapin turtles, Maryland state turtle. They're a Chesapeake Bay native and we're raising them with a different school group that comes once a week. These are absolute little predators. Unlike most turtles, they're extremely active.
As you can see.
And I don't want to say aggressive, but they're really, really perky and they're not sort of slothful like you think of most turtles.
And the third station is looking at our oysters and how important the oysters are to the bay.
That's one live adult oyster in there. Think about how you're breathing all day in, breathe out, breathe in. How much water do you think an oyster takes through its body all day long? What do you think? Well, there's 1 gallon. She guesses 2 gallons. A healthy oyster can take through its body and filter 50 gallons in 1 day. So the more oysters you have in the bay, that's why it's going to be cleaner.
The boat ride is very important because it gets our audience out onto the water. So it's a great way of seeing both the water and how man has interacted with our watershed area and the Chesapeake Bay and how that's affecting it, both positively and negatively.
Well, as we get underway, there's one thing that I wanted to point out. At the critter station, all those little things that we caught, they're all living right over there. And if you notice, where the water meets the land, you see grasses, you see a surface that's friendly to the turtles and to the little critters. It's so important to bring the kids here and teach the kids what is going on with what's living in the bay, wetlands, things that we need to preserve and protect, which is really what we're passing on to them. We're teaching them what we want them to preserve and protect when we're no longer here. What did you learn today, James?
I learned that from our house, pollution can go all the way into the Chesapeake Bay.
I think the most interesting thing that I learned was probably at both the Critter and the Oyster station, knowing that there is all this life that's in the bay and having to be able to, know that it's there. And even though you can't see it, you need to protect it.
He wanted to know if
there's a variety of opportunities and a variety of ways of using your talents, and a great way to get involved and meet new people by volunteering.
I think it's important to volunteer because, especially with our education programs, because the kids are the future and the things that they do every day affect how the bay looks and how healthy it is.
I think it's important to save the Chesapeake Bay because it's part of our earth, and we don't want our animals to die, so I think that's why I think it's important.